We welcome you live to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood High School in Ellettsville, Indiana, where tonight a conference championship is on the line as the Greencastle Tiger Cubs take on the Edgewood Mustangs in the Western Indiana Conference Championship game. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang basketball on Smithville Sports alongside Jeremy Nutter. I am Nick Jenkinson. And Jeremy, Edgewood, this is the fourth year of the crossover. Edgewood has won the East the last 3 years, and this senior class is wanting to make it 4 for 4.
Yeah, and like we're saying, in the JV game prior, there's a lot of 3 points, not that many down low. I think it's going to be a little different in this varsity game. Well, there will be some down low play and some inside presence. But as we see everybody here warming up, Greencastle there before, everybody's just on the perimeter shooting 3. So we'll see if it's like last game and there'll be a lot of outside opportunities, or if it'll get changed somewhere at the start of the game where, they'll want to drive in more, want to, decide different options rather than just throwing up 3s the whole game.
Greencastle making their first appearance in this championship game. Edgewood beat Northview the first 2 years. Away the first year, home 2 years ago, and then they beat Sullivan on the road last year, and then of course they rotate between West and East. So this time Edgewood gets to host as Greencastle comes into this game 11-1, Edgewood 12-2. Edgewood on a 3-game winning streak. Greencastle on an 8-game winning streak. Their only loss was to South Putnam at South Putnam, 56-46. So Edgewood hasn't played in 2 weeks because of the weather and the postponements and stuff. Greencastle played last week against South Vermilion and won 57-46. So interesting to see what Edgewood's going to do with 2 weeks off because of weather, as we're going to get ready here for the national anthem.
Our national anthem by the Edgewood award-winning Music Warehouse under the direction of Mr. Brian Paulson.
The Edgewood Music Warehouse with a great rendition of the national anthem here as we get ready for this championship game. Looking at the starting lineups, first for Greencastle, they will go with Gavin Bowman, 6'5" senior wearing number 40 at 1 forward. Nick Sutherland, 6'2" sophomore, number 30 at the other forward. Brody Whitaker is in the middle. It's Cade Plew, number 44. 6'6" sophomore at guard. Brody Whitaker, 6'2" sophomore, wearing number 12, as you see Whitaker. And then Benton Parmley, 5'9" sophomore, wearing number 14 for Bryce Rector, the Greencastle coach. In his third year, 36-24. He was 8-15 in his first season, 17-8 last year, and 11-1 so far this year. For Edgewood, it's 5 guards, and it's the same starting lineup as they've been. Trevor Taylor, number 1, 6'3" sophomore. Joe Keto, number 2, 5'7" senior. Tate Balcom, number 4, 6' senior. Coleman Sater, number 5, the 6-foot sophomore, and then 6'4" sophomore, and then it's Cam Bannister, 6'2" senior for J.B. Neal in his 3rd year at Edgewood, 50 and 18, 16 and 10 in his 1st year, 22 and 6. Last year won the sectional title, lost to Lebanon in overtime in the regional semifinals at Greencastle. Also won the Wabash Valley Classic last season as well, not so well this year. But Edgewood in the white, Greencastle in the purple. And here we go. This is for all the marbles, the WIC championship. As the Edgewood student section, as you see in the background, all fired up as the band gets them ready to go here at the Corral.
And the band will definitely be the whole game, as we've experienced throughout the years here at Edgewood. They are a presence out here. They create an atmosphere out here and really amplify Edgewood, and are really a weapon, actually, if I'm being honest.
As the tap is controlled by Greencastle, but they lose it out of bounds, and it will be Edgewood ball to start this game.
And we'll look to see how they start off the game, what play they run, kind of what you know, where players are at, kind of if they're playing inside, or unlike the JV where no one was inside and they just kind of do a perimeter shooting. So we'll kind of see how they start out and how they set the tone of this game, if it's a fast-paced game or whatnot. So I'm really interested to see how the game goes here as it actually gets underway after an odd tip-off situation.
Greencastle comes in averaging 60.3. They give up 49.9. Edgewood averages 71.4, defensively 52 a game. So it's going to be interesting to see the style, because Edgewood loves to get up and down the floor. And then you go right to the basket with Coleman Sater, and he falls short, and Bowman with the rebound.
And I mean, you see Greencastle's just length and big men down there compared to you know, Edgewood's players. You know, we talked about a lot in the JV game, and now, you know, looking at this team down there, it's a lot of similar sizes. You don't really see anybody stick out. But then on Greencastle, you know, you have players like Cade Plew and, you know, Gavin Bowman with the ball right now, who are just completely head over heels taller than the other team.
And a nice pass inside to Whitaker, and he gets Greencastle on the board. Taylor, Sater, gonna fire a 3, no good. And there's Balcom, the reverse layup.
That was some good heads up. Everybody was watching, and then no one went for the rebound, and, you know, that's whenever you come in, scoop and score.
That was Balcom with a reverse layup. Again, a guy that he's an emotional leader on this Edgewood ball club. He's a guy that doesn't always, he averages 5.8 coming into tonight. There is almost a steal by Edgewood. Now underneath, and a nice finish for Cade Plew.
And that's going to be a key this whole game, is how they do the inside, because, you know, as we see right now, there is not much inside presence even on offense by Edgewood. So hopefully on defense we'll be able to utilize that and score a lot of points on the inside against Edgewood.
Malcolm going to fire a 3. It's no good after Sater got the offensive board. And now Greencastle going to bring it up. This is
and it's interesting to see a you know, a 6'6" sophomore sitting on the outside on the perimeter. You don't really see that too often, and that's what we saw in the JV game. And like I said at the beginning, it's what kind of tone we're going to set, and it's not going to be too much inside play. It seems like as you know, you see kind of them kind of looking like they're dropping down low, but I don't know how much they are.
Inside, outside 3 on the way. It is no good. Offensive rebound and putback for Gavin Bowman, and it's a 6-2 Greencastle lead. 3 Tiger Cubs have already scored. This is kind of what Edgewood does. They've been off to slow starts here in the past, but they'll get going here shortly.
And we just heard there the Greencastle student section making themselves known.
As Cam Bannister just kind of answered them with a 3 of his own.
You know, it seems like the more I say stuff on cue, something happens that goes against what I'm saying. So, you know, I'm glad that happens sometimes and is able to really amplify the game.
Bannister's 5th 3 of the season. As it's a foul underneath, it's going to go against Trevor Taylor.
Foul number 5. Sater.
Oh, they're going to get Coleman Sater instead.
Blue shooting 2.
That's going to send Cade Plew to the line. Plew this season, averaging right at 8 points a game, 95 points coming in to tonight. But he struggles from the line as he misses that first one. Greencastle as a team, 66% from the field. Now we're going to see Houston Holmes come in, replacing Coleman Sater.
We'll see as, you know, this Greencastle team is in the lead. See if they'll be able to hold it. See if they'll be able to, you know, get more from it, because it's being cut down right now ever so slightly.
As I think that was a
lane violation.
So he'll have one more, and he does not get it, and Bannister with the rebound.
And that was a theme in the JV game too, a lot of missed free throws by both teams.
This is Balcom. Taylor, he gets fouled and will go to the line.
And that seems to be the way that Edgewood's playing right now, kind of playing on the perimeter and then seeing when it open, or just whenever they want to, kind of drive in and take a chance and see if they can make some or draw a foul. And that's pretty much all they've done so far on the floor there.
Trevor Taylor at the line. The sophomore misses the first one. Comes into the night shooting 84% from the line, 291 points on the season, 20.7 points a game average. Has scored 13 times in double figures, and he misses both, a rarity. Best game we had at 32 against Bloomfield in December.
That was quite the game there. Everybody got a good amount of points that game.
Edgewood trails by 1. And that is a nice basket for Bowman, his 4th points of the night.
And that's what you expect your big man to get. If they're in, you know, near the blocks or down there at all, you expect them to either make a move or be able to put up a floater and make it. And that's how, you know, you get a lot of your points from Greencastle.
And there is the foul.
Personal foul number 44, Plew.
And that's going to be on Plew, his first and the team's second.
We'll see how they inbound, how they play. I would guess that they would go to a perimeter shot on the inbound, but we'll see what they do.
Keto's going to inbound it. As it's Balcom, Keto, Taylor. Keto going to fire a 3. It is off the mark, tapped around. It's going to be an offensive foul on Edgewood.
And I know it's only halfway through the first quarter, but it looks opposite to the game prior where Edgewood was hitting everything. Now, so far in most of their shots, they haven't been able to convert, and that's been a really big issue with the way they're playing, with not a big man down low, not having that rebounding ability. So they're relying on either a drive or a make 3 in order to gain their points, which could be risky depending on what option they go for. If they keep going for 3s, it could be a really long night for them. But if they keep going on driving in, it could be more successful.
There is a 3 on the way. It is perfect for Nick Sutherland. And Greencastle is up by 6. Houston Holmes gets it to Keto, to Sater.
And a lot of cutting in there on the top of the key.
That's what Edgewood does. And Balcom called for the offensive foul. He can't believe it.
And I think they're looking for that more after they see how Edgewood's starting with that driving mentality. I think they'll start looking for those offensive fouls where the offense kind of either throws an arm or extends the arm to push away, or even backs down, because whenever you drive so much, you know, the refs will start seeing that, and they may start wising up to what you try to do, or some little tricks you try to pull that they may not normally see, they may end up seeing.
That was Balcom taken away by Keto. Nice bounce pass, and Holmes just can't handle it, but they're going to say it is off the foot of a Greencastle player and be Edgewood ball.
And Greencastle coach Bryce Rector there just threw his paper in disgust after that turnover, because that was a possession that they could have kept, could have rolled off 40 seconds off the clock and gotten either 2 or 3 from, and that's just an opportunity wasted.
Kyle Rogers in the game for Edgewood, wears number 13. Taylor can't get it to go. Plew with the rebound.
Trevor Taylor really hasn't had that much of an opportunity that game, or this game, to play well. He's been taking bad shots, been doing things that, whenever we've seen him, he doesn't normally do. He normally knocks down the shots he's been shooting so far, and so it's kind of odd to see him start like that. And maybe, he'll heat up, because, whenever I say something, normally the opposite happens, but we'll see.
As Houston Holmes, Taylor is going to take a seat, and Houston Holmes is back in for Edgewood. And Edgewood has not played for 2 weeks because of weather delays, cancellations. That they were supposed to play Greencastle here in the regular season meeting as Rogers launches a shot January 12th. Supposed to play Bedford North Lawrence last Saturday, both postponed due to weather. The regular season meeting with Greencastle not going to be made up. Greencastle actually added a game with Bloomington South later in February. So Edgewood still has a game. If they want to schedule, they could. It is highly unlikely, though, because of, again, trying to find an opponent this late in the season. But I have seen it done before, so never say never.
Yeah, and the same thing, though, with these players. I mean, you can practice, and that's good and all, but in a game it's completely different, because you have people maybe playing at a higher level against you with stuff you don't normally see, or body types you don't normally play against. So you can practice, and that's what they've been doing all this time, but it's with people you're familiar with, people you know how they play. You know them very well. With these players, it's a completely different ball game, and they're not able to cope as well as you're seeing right now down there on the floor. It's getting crazy.
Rogers going to fire a 3. It's off the mark. It's a rebound to Parmley, and here comes Greencastle. In the lane, no good for Whitaker, and Keto comes away with it.
Bit of a carnival rim there. A little bit of an oval rim kind of deal where it goes in and out.
Now, Sater with it. Holmes, and a baseline jumper for Houston Holmes.
That was good for them, because they haven't had any points for a while. So giving that injection of life will help them out a little bit and get them a little more confidence as they're back on defense here.
Edgewood down by 4.
This is an interesting idea down here where you see an almost kind of ISO, but they don't seem to be running a play. They simply be walking a play through.
It's Parmley against Sater. Looks like they're going to hold it for 1.
Probably for possession next quarter, if I'm guessing right. I think they're running a spread to run out the clock.
And Edgewood is, of course, the team that's going to put the pressure on you.
Edgewood's starting to figure it out. And
there's the 3 on the way in and out. And there's Keto, and he gets fouled as he throws the up ahead to Bannister, and then Bannister tries to throw it down after the whistle, and the Greencastle fans not happy with that one.
A lot of things that shouldn't happen probably just happened there with a shot. You don't expect that, a turnover, and then going the other way, and now they have a chance to, get that momentum going into the next quarter.
So there is Keto. Clock down. Rogers got to throw up a runner, and he does at the buzzer. Greencastle 11, Edgewood 9 at the end of the first quarter on Smithville Sports.
Commercial Service is celebrating 70 years as the largest, most trusted heating and air conditioning company in southern Indiana. With Commercial Service and Train's special financing rates, you can afford to have the best. But hurry, this is a limited time offer. Preventative maintenance programs reduce repair and utility bills. Also, get your 15% off coupon at commercialservice.com. After a merger with R&S Plumbing, Commercial Service is now Southern Indiana's most trusted plumbing company. 24 hours, 7 days a week. For more information, visit commercialservice.com.
As we welcome you back to the Mustang crowd, you see J.B. Neal in the huddle, and he is after his team. Edgewood trails 11-9 here against Greencastle with the Western Indiana Conference Championship on the line. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang basketball on Smithville Sports alongside Jeremy Nutter. I am Nick Jenkinson, and Jeremy, Kyle Rogers hits that shot right at the buzzer, that runner at the buzzer, to bring this Greencastle lead down to 2.
And varsity coach J.B. Neal definitely used that in the huddle there, as you saw him motivating his players. You know, you see him a lot there on the sideline. He seems a very emotional coach, very invested in his team. And, you know, in that quarter break there, he's going in and saying, all right, you scored. Use that momentum you have. Keep playing hard. Keep playing tough. You did well on defense that last time. Continue producing those results, and you'll be fine.
There's a 3, and then Bowman with the offensive rebound and putback.
And that seems to be the biggest difference I've seen between these two teams so far, is the inside presence. Edgewood, honestly, has not necessarily had that big of an inside presence, whereas you have Greencastle, where they have on their roster listed a 6'8", 6'6", 6'5" guy. I mean, you have these tall guys, and on, you know, Edgewood, you're seeing the tallest guy being 6'4", and so that height difference is definitely a big deal, and something that currently Greencastle is utilizing, as we see one of their big men going in and not getting the foul called.
There was Bowman, and he couldn't get it called, and then a shot's altered, and here's Coleman Sater. Gets it to Balcom. Kicks it, Keto, 3. Nothing but net for Joe Keto. Keto on the season is 14th free for Joe Keto. Not always a guy that looks to shoot the ball, but when he has to, he will.
Yeah, I mean, you see him down there. He's the shortest one out there by a lot, and you know, you don't expect him to even be out there, let alone shoot a 3. But he has definitely been a threat as I've watched him. He's definitely a threat whenever he gets opening, even a little bit of opening. He's able to create that space and make that 3 or make that tough shot. It's very impressive to see, and he's definitely a leader out there.
Well, as you see, he also keeps his man in front of him. He's a very good one-on-one as a defender. If you try to back him down underneath the basket, not so much, but he's a very good one-on-one. As Sater goes to the basket, Holmes tries to tap it out, and it's Greencastle ball.
See,
Whitaker with a nice move.
Bowman, the big man with the 3 shot.
And it's off the mark, and it's Bannister with the board. Frenetic pace, Sater loses it. Holmes recovers, throws up, a shot in the lane, no good. Bowman with the rebound.
And this is where Greencastle coach down there, Bryce Rector, is saying calm down and run a play, because that's exactly what everybody's thinking right there, is calm down and run a play. And then that happens, and he's losing his cool a little bit down there that just happened after he got that calm down possession.
Sutherland loses the ball as Taylor and Kyle Rogers come back in as Balcom and Bannister go out for Edgewood, as Trey Wood is 52 in the game. He's 6'8", senior. So again, you had a lot of size with Greencastle inside with Bowman, Flew, and Wood, although Flew is out of the game right now.
And that's an asset, a 6'8" guy. I mean, anybody tries to go up against him, he's probably not going to move.
There's Sater and Bowman with the big block.
Massive block.
Again, Greencastle, this is kind of the way they want to play. Maybe playing a little too fast for their own good, but they're going to fire the 3. It's off the mark, and Taylor with the rebound, and he's got numbers up ahead. Going to throw it to Rogers.
And on that previous possession there, you see 2 men get sucked away, and an open shot open up, and then a pass, and then another open shot open up, and unfortunately a miss.
Keto hits his second 3 of the night.
And like we were talking about, he hits those shots, you know, you don't think a 5'7" guy would hit, and he's able to, you know, I don't know, create that space or something, be able to make it. It's kind of weird to see because you wouldn't think he would make something like that out there.
Joe Quito comes in tonight averaging right at 7 points a game, and he's got 6 so far as Greencastle calls the full timeout with 4:28 to go. As you see, assistant coach Brad Moorhead getting after Coleman Sater as J.B. Neal drawing up a play along with Jeff Harrington with the JV coach. Edgewood's JV got a huge win tonight over Greencastle, 64-34.
And both coaches too right now in the huddle are probably saying, you know, if we play our way, play conservatively, we got this. If we don't need to be running down the court like they were earlier in the quarter.
There's Bryce Rector, the coach at Greencastle, young guy, so he's probably going to be there for a while. As you know, he's done a great job, an 11-1 record for the Tiger Cubs, 6-0 at home, 5-1 on the road so far, 7-0 against Class 3A teams. These two teams have been sectional opponents in the past, but Greencastle is in another sectional. They're in 25 with Crawfordsville, Lebanon, who won the sectional last year, Western Boone, Southmont, Benton Central, North Montgomery. And Greencastle hasn't won a sectional since 2004, and you know that they're hungry for one this year, because if they do win the sectional, the regional is at Greencastle, so it's the home court advantage.
Yeah, that's always a big deal. I remember my senior year that happened with us, and that's just something that you love, is coming out of nowhere.
And there is Joe Quito as he gets fouled hard going to the basket and will go to the line.
When you see him down there, he's a pretty well-built guy, so he's not going to get pushed around necessarily too much. But whenever you go up against somebody who's 6 foot or 6 foot and above and is well-built, it's always going to be the shorter guy on the losing end of that.
Joe Quito hits the free throw. He's got 7, so he's right at his average. And he had 97 points coming into tonight for the season, and he hits both, and he's at 8. Quito's season high this year. He had 16 against Bloomington South. There's Bannister, and he gets fouled.
And again, Greencastle simply bringing up the ball and mishandling it. It's just mistakes like those that cannot happen and will definitely cost them the game, because they're not able to make those mistakes and recover, because Edgewood gets 2 points out of this possibly, and that just makes the lead even more.
Cam Bannister misses the foul shot coming into tonight. Bannister at 6.7 points a game. Shoots 76% from the charity stripe, and he gets that one to go, and he's got 4. And it's a 9-0 run for Edgewood so far. Quito thought about it, going to give it to the trailing Stater, going to drive to the basket and leave it short.
And now Greencastle coach Bryce Rector, all he wants is for them to run a play, and they're not able to.
As you see, Bryce Rector, the Greencastle coach, 3rd year at the school. And Sater goes out, Houston Holmes comes in.
I think at halftime it'll definitely be a door shut, loud kind of locker room where, you know, you don't want to be in there necessarily, because Greencastle simply get it down a little bit, and stuff like that doesn't happen.
Joe Quito in double figures already as he just drives to the lane uncontested.
And that's where you get caught ball watching and man watching, where all of a sudden someone can sneak behind who honestly is next to people who are 6'4", 6'8". And if you're against people like that, you don't even have to be next to them to block them.
And there is a travel on Greencastle. And Edgewood will have it up 7 now, approaching just under 3 minutes to go. Again, stay tuned. We'll have a great halftime feature for you. It's been a frenetic first half as Balcom gets to the basket. We talked about how Edgewood doesn't have inside presence, but they're able to now attack the lane, and get to the basket inside.
it's not necessarily the same as Greencastle's inside presence where they have big men. Instead, they use a drive inside method where they don't exactly all play on the inside but are able to get there.
And it is a foul on the Mustangs.
Personal foul, number 1, Taylor.
That's on Taylor.
Substitution, number 5, Sater.
First, his fourth,
Taylor.
team's fourth, Taylor's first, and now he'll sit and Coleman Sater will be back in. Blue's gonna launch a three. It is no good. Tate Balcom with the rebound.
It's always fun watching the big man with the three, but Edgewood is flying down the court.
And that was poetry in motion as Balcom finds Sater cutting to the basket, and that's Sater's first 2 of the night.
And we saw Bryce Rector earlier throw a paper, get upset. Now he's sitting there, which is scary for those players because they better know that something's coming at halftime.
He's a very active coach. He's always up on the sidelines. For him to sit right now is a rarity. Plew inside and he scores.
And that's their first basket in a long while here for Greencastle.
And a 15-0 run by Edgewood. Keto, Balcom, Bannister. Balcom gonna put it up. Contested shot over Sutherland and he gets it.
And you just see these Edgewood players, after every basket, they are amped up, yelling, screaming, and from the Greencastle team, it almost looks more of a deer in the headlights or go through the motion kind of thing, where they're getting just slammed by the Edgewood, just the way they're playing, just the intensity seems to be totally different.
Launch a long three is no good for Parmley. Here's Bannister, one-on-one, left it short. Greencastle has it. And now Whitaker will bring it back out. Tries to bounce pass, it's kicked off the leg of Sater, and it'll be Greencastle ball.
And Greencastle really haven't utilized their down low man that much this half. I was wondering if that would be an adjustment by Coach Bryce Rector at halftime and utilize as the big man scores down low where they can a lot of the time make baskets.
Plew with his 6th point of the night. As
21 Holmes.
that's on Houston Holmes. That's his first. This will send Plew to the line. He's a 6'6" sophomore. Greencastle starts 4 sophomores and 1 senior. And he hits that one as Kyle Rogers comes back in.
Replaces Bannister.
Placing Cam Bannister.
Number 1, Taylor. Replacing Holmes.
As Taylor replacing Houston Holmes. It's an 8-point Edgewood lead. Approaching 30 seconds to go. It's been a fast first half.
That it has. A lot of transition plays, a lot of quick plays. Not too many fouls, surprisingly enough, with how fast they've been playing.
There's Balcom to Sater. To Keto.
I think they're holding this for the last shot opportunity here.
Taylor. Keto. Gonna put up a jumper. No good, but he chases it down. Kicks it out. Taylor, 3 on the way. It's good. Trevor Taylor hits the 3, and Edgewood going to the locker room with an 11-point lead.
And that was a big shot made by Taylor there, as we see here Greencastle working inside.
As we see the highlights, Taylor, that was his first 3 of the night. You see Balcom chase it down and get the lay-in. Bannister hits the outside shot, but then Sutherland hits one for Greencastle. Kyle Rogers throws it up at the buzzer to end the first quarter. How about Joe Keto in double figures with 10 points? Leading the way, Bowman with the big block on Coleman Sater. And there's Balcom driving it to the bucket. And then this is just beautiful. Bounce pass to Sater to finish it. As Kate Plew scores inside as we're at halftime. Edgewood 29, Greencastle 18 on Smithville Sports. We welcome you back to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood High School, Ellettsville, Indiana, as Edgewood's on top of Greencastle 29-18 in this Western Indiana Conference Championship game. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang basketball on Smithville Sports. As you see Jeff Harrington, the JV coach, firing up Trevor Taylor. Edgewood in control. I am Nick Jenkinson alongside Jeremy Nutter. While Trevor Taylor has struggled with just 3 points, it is Joe Keto leading the way with 10 points for the Mustangs.
Yeah, I mean, he played a big role at the end of that quarter. And then end of the half, having that rebound and giving it to Trevor Taylor, him being able to make the three. And he's been a very big part, both on defense, intensity-wise, and as well scoring, which we're talking about at the break, is very unusual for him.
Yeah, he's averaging 7 points a game. He's had his 6th game now in double figures, scored 16 against Bloomington South to start the season. And it's one of those things where he's not a score-first guard. He's a pass-first guard. He gets his teammates involved, but his game, when he needs to score, he can score. So he's done a great job tonight, and it's been open for him most of the night. As he's hit outside, he's able to score inside as well. So, but Greencastle gets the offensive rebound there.
And we see an inside play by Greencastle. Definitely something probably talked about at halftime, because that is where they are most threatening, is down low with their big men.
Cade Plew is in double figures he has 9 points so far for Greencastle. Trevor Taylor, he scores just his 5th point of the night. Only time he has not scored double figures this season, he had 7 against Sullivan.
And that's going to be a big thing for him if he can, because he didn't have a good first half, he didn't have a good first half. He got pulled off by the coach a lot in the first half. And so to see if he's able to bounce back, have some confidence, not be extremely pouty or anything in that nature, and bounce back and show characteristics that make a good player, that will really show in this half, and ultimately see how successful he is this half, scoring-wise and passing-wise and rebounding and all the like.
There is the Tiger Cubs with it. 3 on the way, and it is good for Parmley.
And I think I saw him practice that in warm-ups as well.
His first 3 of the night. Now Greencastle is down 8. And you have a feeling they're going to try to slow it down a little bit and look for the good shots.
Yeah, the fast pace was not working out too well for them last half. I think they'll try to hold the ball, use their big men more, and really bounce off of them.
That was a good pass outside from Bowman. You had Plew right there underneath and didn't see him. Now he has to step out. Gonna drive it, gonna throw a little elbow toward Balcom. They won't call it. In the corner, 3 is good for Brody Whitaker. Now all of a sudden it's 5 points.
Yeah, and you didn't see that coming at the end of the last quarter and at the end of the half after Trevor Taylor made that 3. And now, Greencastle's, catching a little fire, making some threes, having some good possession time and good looks, and looking for it instead of just going willy-nilly up for it or chucking up a 3. You're looking for opportunities and executing well.
Bryce Rector wants an explanation. He doesn't agree with that call. Kyle Rogers comes back in, and Balcom goes out. As Taylor's shot short.
And that was something we saw in the first half that, we were talking about, is a weird sock selection by Trevor Taylor. And again, that was just an odd one where the ball didn't even get to the basket. And as a player that, Edgewood definitely rely on and is definitely an important player to their team, it's not usual to see him do something like that.
There is another 3. It is off the mark, and Sater with the rebound, and Edgewood's going to push. Taylor called for the travel.
Substitution for the Mustangs.
And I played a lot of sports that involved mental, and I had a coach told me once mental is to physical is 4:1. And right now that's kind of where Edgewood's at, is that mentally. You know, physically they got it all. They're looking good. They're looking fit. They're looking fine. They don't look too tired. Intensity's there. But mentally, they're kind of making mental little errors that will cost them the game ultimately if they continue to do that throughout the rest of the game.
And there's the offensive foul on Plew.
I don't know about you, but we could both see that from a mile away. And, you know, Joe Quito stepping in there and definitely planning himself and taking that charge very obviously. It was easy call for the ref.
Trey Wood's going to check in for Greencastle. He wears 52. Greencastle's only used 6 guys, and it's basically been the Plew, Wood for Plew. So the other guys have played all the minutes. So that could become a real issue here in the fourth quarter with depth and fatigue, you know, for Greencastle.
And we'll see that, because I know some teams that, you know, are, as Trevor Taylor there makes a 3. I know some teams that, and watch some teams that are able to keep up intensity, and you think these people should be dead of exhaustion by now. And Edgewood's kind of playing like that, where the intensity is really high and you don't know whether they can keep that the whole game. But at the same time, Greencastle's kind of playing in a methodical way, which tells me that they're not necessarily looking for a break or a hard thing, a hard push into the.
As you see Joe Quito steal it and lay it in. And now it's a timeout by Edgewood. They're going to call a full timeout.
It is a full timeout.
Joe Quito there with a big steal.
12 points for Joe Quito. Again, the evolution of his game, our broadcast partner Quinn Saturday would compare him to Ricky Rubio a lot. It's not really because of how he shoots. It's the fact he can make spectacular passes. And, I mean, he's having that senior night moment right now where he's taking control of this game. And I know J.B. Neal is excited for Joe Quito. 6 seniors on this team. You've got Austin Schwartz, Kyle Rogers, Houston Holmes, Joe Quito, Tate Balcom, and Cam Bannister. And they've won 3 WIC conference titles, and they want to make it 4. They want to go out perfect, 4 for 4.
I mean, why not? You know, you think as a player, you always want to win the highest thing. And then, you know, these players out here out for Edgewood, and the seniors especially, honestly, if they were to lose tonight, it would kind of sour a lot of the wins, because they'll say, even though they've won 3 in a row, they'll say to themselves, well, we didn't do it perfect, you know, and that's something that definitely is a goal and something that is very appealing for a high school senior.
Would also be their 10th WIC championship. They won it in 2000, 2005. They won 5 straight from 2005 to 2009, and then their last 3 straight here. So when they do it in bunches. And this class wants to also match the 08 and 09 classes of 4 in a row as Parmalee scores the basket.
And Coach J.B. Neal is going absolutely ballistic on the sideline there. He lost his mind after that exchange and fast break and missed fast break opportunity.
As you see, a great shot by our camera crew, Nate Alarcon, with the angle of J.B. Neal losing his mind at the official. Camera crew always doing an awesome job tonight with Annette Bruner and Nate Alarcon down on the floor, and Clemente Tirado here on the up top. Inside, misses by Whitaker.
And this is a back and forth crowd game now. You hear one side get louder, the other side get louder. A coach put his hands on his head, another coach cheer. It's just kind of something, you know, that definitely feels like a pendulum effect right now.
Joe Quito with his 14th point of the night. Inside, again, he can score inside, outside, get to the free throw line. He's done it all tonight.
And he's definitely stepping up where Trevor Taylor maybe isn't having the best night of his life so far. So he's definitely stepping in that role as a very special player tonight for them to have. and to use as a passer and as a scorer.
As Bowman inside, and he just throws it away.
A miscommunication there.
And you see Bannister, he's firing up the students, getting them excited. Now Kyle Rogers is going to come in, and Bannister's going to go out. Now the Edgewood student giving a little chant to the Greencastle kids that made the trip. Short trip, about 45 minutes away, so it's not a long trip at all for Greencastle. Again, Edgewood's hoping to play there in March because that is where the regional is held for 3A schools. It's a nice arena, McAnally Center, nice arena for a regional. Been there many a times. It kind of reminds you of an arena to the north that we won't, a certain college arena to the north that we won't discuss. In that place, I think called West Lafayette. It's a little Mackey arena, they say.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah. It's set up just like Mackey is, but there's the shot for Whitaker, and he misses, and he was fouled.
Personal foul, number 21, Holmes.
Houston Holmes at the with the foul is second. Brody Whitaker, 6'2", sophomore, 5 points tonight, make it 6.
And you know, we definitely have seen kind of which team benefits from what style. Greencastle is much more set plays, set time, do this, keep possession, and execute. Whereas Edgewood, you know, is just wanting the ball and going to the basket. They don't care. You don't care who scores. They don't care, you know, who gets the ball. They just want to go. You know, they're just a team that goes and that attacks, and they're able to do that for the whole game, and that's an asset to have. Both are an asset to have, and it just depends on which formula works better on a given night. And so far, Edgewood's is working very well.
Bowman with the foul is going to send Coleman Sater to the line. Sater, a sophomore, along with Trevor Taylor, coming into the night. Sater, 12 points a game, 169 points, shoots 70% at the line, and he misses that one. He's only got 2 points so far tonight. But he's a kid. He's had 9 games in double figures. His high game, 26 against Bloomfield. 3 double-doubles this season at Martinsville against Cloverdale and Park Heritage. He's in double figures. Again, a kid that didn't play a lot last year. Varsity was more of a JV player, but he has really stepped up this season.
Yeah, and that's big as a sophomore, you know. Being able to play varsity is something that I definitely had the privilege of doing, and that's something that is cool because you're with the older guys, you're with people who, you know, have a lot more experience than you and can learn from. And at the same time, you're able to make an impact on the floor as a key player to this team as a sophomore. And that definitely spells well for Edgewood here as they're on the break.
And there's the run out by Balcom. Credit Bannister and Keto with the assist plays, and Edgewood's back up by 13.
And after the first quarter, we've seen Edgewood come into their own and really play their basketball.
And there is, it's not going to be a shot. It's on the floor. They're going to call Bannister with the foul. It's going to be out of bounds for Greencastle.
Substitution for the Mustangs, number 13,
Rogers is back in, placing Balcom, and now Sater is going to replace Bannister. Edgewood used 7 kids tonight. They can go 8 or 9 deep, but J.B. Neal keeping a tight bench tonight.
Yeah, both teams, as you said, don't have that many players coming in and out of the game. They're using the same players over and over again as we see a turnover by Greencastle.
Turnover by Greencastle. Derek Farkas has not been in the game. He's usually a kid that comes off the bench and provides some minutes, but has not seen the floor yet this evening.
And you know, as we go to the fourth quarter, we may see more turnover from both coaches as the game kind of fleshes itself out. But right now, it definitely is still, even with a 13-point lead, it's a little iffy as Trevor Taylor takes an unneeded 3 and then an unneeded pass goes down the floor.
Oh, and he hits it!
Oh, my goodness.
Brody Whitaker hits it.
What a shot to make.
In
that
the
was
corner,
epic.
he just kind of fell out of bounds and hit it. I hope we get a replay of that.
Oh,
as Edgewood leads 43-33. Final quarter coming up next on Smithville Sports. As we welcome you back to Edgewood High School there, as Edgewood leads 43-33 as we start the fourth and final quarter of action. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang basketball here on Smithville Sports. A reminder, tomorrow night we will be over at Bloomington North. It is Bloomington North and Columbus East. Columbus East is 4-6. They play East Central tonight. Bloomington North has the night off. They are 10-3, and that will be a good one. JV at 6, Varsity at 7:30. Tomorrow afternoon, Edgewood will be at Bankers Life Fieldhouse to what they call the really big basketball show. 5 games starting at 1 o'clock. Edgewood will play Monrovia. Tri-West will play Greencastle at 2:40. Then Northwestern, the #1 team in Class 3A, will play Carroll of Flora. Culver Academy will play Indianapolis Cathedral with IU signee Armand Franklin, and then it's Franklin and Southport to end the night. So if you're in Indianapolis and you want to go, check out 5 great games of high school basketball in Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yeah, and it's a big opportunity for these kids because, you know, it's not every day you get to go to an NBA arena and play some basketball and play a game against an opponent there. And so it'd just be a fun day for these kids, and not really and just a really overall good time.
And a quick turnaround too for both teams. You know, for Greencastle, they're going to have a bus trip back, get the kids home, get them rested, and then get them up, or get them home, get them to bed, and get them up and ready to go for tomorrow. Edgewood at least doesn't have to make any trip home. They just have to, you know, but they got to get ready, and because they play the first game tomorrow, so it should be an exciting day.
Yeah, and like you said, you know, that tight schedule, and we talked about that a little bit off here real quick, and it was interesting to discuss about how these kids go from playing this game tonight, and the Greencastle kids are going to put some miles on in the next 2 days. So it'll be interesting to see how you play with that, because that can definitely affect how you play. You know, your energy, traveling in a car for so long. And as we see Greencastle here with the travel call.
Well, I don't think there really will be any advantage tomorrow, because I think all the teams that are playing, tonight as well. So it's you know, it's an interesting kind of scenario, but it's an opportunity you don't turn down, because, you know, when they approach you to say, hey, can you move a home game to Bankers Life, you pretty much take it. As Keto gets the bounce, he's got 16.
Waltz has passed the man at the top of the key with the behind the back, and then simply goes up against a much taller center or power forward, and is able to make it, which is just incredible.
Edgewood in control, 3-on-1. Sater bounced past the Balcom, and he finishes.
And Edgewood are just playing really good basketball right now. Very good transition basketball, and are able to use their possession for points, which is what Greencastle is having a lot of struggle with. They can keep possession for a little bit and then give it away, but ultimately, as we see here, the first points in a minute or two.
Whitaker gets the basket. Greencastle wants a full timeout here.
As we see
we have a minute, we want to thank our crew, the hardworking women and men behind the scenes. Nate Allercon, Annette Bruner, Clemente Torrado on the cameras, Rob Ramsey and Nadir Noon on the deck tonight. Our technical director, replays, Quinn Saturday doing scores, you and I getting to do commentary. We thank you all for everything you do throughout the football and basketball seasons. And again, tomorrow night, Columbus East at Bloomington North from the Cougar Den. And it's hard to believe the Boys State Tournament draw is Sunday, February the 17th at 5 o'clock as you see J.B. Neal in the huddle. But it's just hard to believe how fast the basketball season goes.
Yeah, because it's at a weird time. You know, all the other sports, fall and spring, they're during the semester, during that school year, and even bleed in, you know, out of school times, but they're not during a weird Christmas break. So that's definitely why it seems to go so fast, is because you're not here for most of it, it seems like.
As, again, both these teams tomorrow make that trip to Bankers Life Fieldhouse. I got to give as we mentioned in the JV game, got to give a mention to Carroll from Flora. That's up by Delphi. A former classmate of mine, Bodie Bender, the head coach there in his first season. They're 5-5, and wish them all the best tomorrow against Northwestern. It's I know that that's going to be a tough out for him, but I know that he's excited for the opportunity for his kids and to go up against the top team in 3A.
It's always looking for a challenge. You know, whenever I was playing, it was always fun playing against those teams, you know, that were top ranked or higher up, because you don't have anything to lose really unless you're close to, you know, close in rank to them. But if you're a smaller team, you have nothing to lose, everything to win. So it's just a lot of fun because you can play with that freedom, and ultimately sometimes, you know, you play better.
Yeah, he'll have his team ready to go. It looks like they're not a team that scores a lot of points, plays a lot of defense, and it should be exciting for him and his kids as Sutherland scores. Again, Greencastle not going away. They're down 8 right now.
And that's the way the whole game's been ever since the first quarter. Whenever they gave up their lead, they've just been very keeping with it in the way that they played. They haven't really given up. They haven't really, you know, lost any momentum. They just have, you know, dropped behind, but have been there.
There's a steal by Greencastle. It's Parmley with the ball. And then Ballman loses it, and it will be Edgewood ball. Greencastle doesn't agree with it. As you see, Bryce Rector wanting a little explanation from the official.
It's one of those nights where you think the refs are against you, get paid by the home team, you know, and that's what it always seems like, is that the refs are against you. But it's needless play by Greencastle to do stuff like that, and they definitely shot themselves in the foot on a lot of occasions so far by giving up possession when they've had promising opportunities to score. And the game could have been a lot closer. They could have even been leading if they've taken those opportunities.
There is Keto to Taylor. Edgewood trying again, they have been in this championship game the last 4 years now. Greencastle their first time in this title game. Again, it's where you finish in the division is who you play on the other side. So Edgewood represents the East, Greencastle represents the West. There is a miss. Bodies flying, ball on the floor. Greencastle gets a timeout.
Oh, and they're dragging their teammate around not to be able to get up. That's a little scary, all them diving in there, but just show the determination by all of them. And honestly, a determination we did not see necessarily in the first half by Greencastle. Whenever we talked about, they looked like they were walking through a play, it seemed like, and now they're diving after the ball. Must have been something in halftime that that coach said to them and really spurred them on.
As you see the Edgewood huddle, J.B. Neal, the coach, again looking ahead to Edgewood's schedule. Next Thursday they will be at Bloomington North, then they will play Bedford North Lawrence at home next Saturday afternoon. February 9th at Orleans, February 12th at Northview, February 15th at Mitchell, and then they close it out February 21st with Eastern Green. Greencastle, they will play Tri-West tomorrow, Western Boone on January 28th. January 31st at Monrovia, February 2nd at Brown County. Then they host the Putnam County Class Tournament, host South Putnam February 7th, and then we'll play either Cloverdale or North Putnam February 8th. Bloomington South comes calling February 15th. That game got added because of the Edgewood cancellations game. February 16th, they play Owen Valley and then close it out with North Montgomery as Greencastle misses that 3. Again, these teams not in the same sectional they used to be, but they could see each other possibly in the regionals if all works out. They got to both win sectionals. Edgewood's hoping to get back there. They lost to Lebanon last year in the regional semis. Greencastle lost to them in the sectional championship a season ago. So Taylor, Keto to Taylor.
And men they're playing in a way where whenever Trevor Taylor has the ball, they seem to be double teaming, where this time he takes a shot, but there's always an open opportunity. Because what they do is we saw a few times there, is whoever's the nearest help man will come over and help them out. And that creates an open space. Trevor Taylor sometimes finds it, sometimes he takes a drive and goes in. But it's definitely a weakness in Greencastle's defense as a contested shot goes up and Joe Keto comes in flying.
They're going to call a jump ball on a jump ball. Greencastle fans not excited about it. You see Bryce Rexford, bottom of the screen, is not thrilled with that call.
And definitely a lot of things have not been going Greencastle's way tonight, but it all comes down to their playing style and just how they have not been able to use their possessions effectively. Here as we see just a silly foul out in the middle of nowhere, mid-court given by Greencastle.
As Whitaker commits the foul. That's his second. And now Rogers comes in, Bannister goes out. Just under 2.5 to go here. As Edgewood closing in on a 4th straight Western Indiana Conference championship. Taylor with a friendly bounce for 3. He's got 13, and he's in double figures for the 14th time this season. Foul on the floor.
Personal foul, number 4, Balcom.
And that is his second, Balcom's second.
Substitution for the Mustangs.
Bannister comes back in, Rogers going out. Then Holmes comes in.
Holmes.
And it's not over. The game's not over. Even though they're up by 13, you know, Greencastle definitely has a chance to come in. Even if they make a 2 or a 3, that cuts it down to a very close game still. But stuff like that just can't happen.
There's a steal, Taylor, and then there's on the other end, there's a mistake by Bannister as he just
a comedy
goes
of errors
right through his hands. Now for the first time, we're going to see Andrew York. He's a 6-foot senior come in and replace Sutherland. So both teams have used 7 players. York has only attempted 1 shot on the year, so he is not an offensive threat. As Whitaker scores.
Basket by Whitaker.
And that's where you get that 2 or 3 point, call a timeout, rally the troops together and see what you can get here with the last minute and 53 seconds.
Thurland will re-enter the lineup for Greencastle.
As you see the Edgewood huddle, both huddles so far. Again, it's an 11-point lead for Edgewood. Greencastle, a school with a lot of tradition, 34 sectional titles, but they haven't won one since 2004, 14 regional titles, their last one in 1988. But Bryce Rector's turned it around. He was 17-8 last year, 11-1 so far this season. I mean, and they've got 4 of their 5 starters are sophomores. So this is a team you're going to hear from for the next couple of years.
And if they can keep their momentum going, they'll definitely be able to, be successful, because I think there is some learning that still needs to be done on this team. Again, it's a lot easier to see it from up here, but down there on the court, it's not as easy. And as what I was thinking was going to happen in the huddle, it's probably going to be possession play by Edgewood, just trying to run the clock out as low as possible. And if there's an open shot, that's what they should do, is shoot that open shot. But other than that, they should focus on defense and possession.
As Taylor is fouled. And it will go out of bounds. That's on Sutherland. That's his third. And then Sater is fouled by Bowman.
And get your popcorn out, folks, because this may be a long one. A minute 31 left, and a lot of free throws to be taken, I assume, for the rest of the game here.
And it's Coleman Sater. That's the fourth on Bowman. So Sater at the line, just 3 points this evening for Coleman Sater, the sophomore. Terrific season, and he gets the friendly roll. One more for Sater. And he misses it. Sater 2 of 4 at the line tonight.
And Edgewood's thing is do not foul, like they did just there. You do not foul at this point.
And both teams in at 1-1. That's on Houston Holmes. That's his third. So it's going to put Brody Whitaker at the line.
Like I said, it's going to be one of those situations in the NBA you see where 2 minutes takes about, 6 hours. So we'll see, how both teams react, how both teams do. If it's a war of attrition, there may be a point where Greencastle realizes it's out of reach, but for now, it looks like it's going to be a fouling game for Greencastle.
As Whitaker misses the first one and he misses both. And now Quito, it's in the hands of Quito. It's not only NBA, but it's college too that takes forever. If you saw the Michigan-Indiana women's game last night, that took forever down at the end of the game, as it was a foul. It seemed like it took 5 or 10 minutes to play the about final 30 seconds of that game.
I was there too. Yes,
yeah.
Wanted it to get over as soon as possible because at that point it becomes a very tactical game, and a lot of fans go, they won't be able to get any points or won't be able to come back. But at the same time, in some very few circumstances it works, and you never know if the circumstance is right.
So now Edgewood just playing keep away, up 11. As again, they got to turn around and play Monrovia tomorrow afternoon. Greencastle playing Tri-West tomorrow afternoon as well.
Personal foul, number 12, Whitaker.
It's Whitaker. He's going to get his third foul, and Joe Quito is back in. Wood and York come in. We're going to see Bannister back in for Edgewood. So one more for Quito, and he misses that one.
A lot of missed free throws tonight, and I do have to say that's probably the theme of the night is no big man and a lot of free throws. So I don't know what each coach takes away, but as Coach Rector calls off the dogs and kind of lets it run out the rest of the game. Just a long 30 seconds to call it off.
It's going to be a long 30 seconds as Edgewood is going to be your 2019 Western Indiana Conference Tide champions. They're going to win 4 in a row. The senior class will go 4 for 4. It's going to be the 10th WIC title in school history. And then Trevor Taylor is just going to dribble it out. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and there you go. Edgewood officially your conference champions. And as we look at the highlights, a lot of outside shooting from both teams. Taylor shoots it, and then Houston Holmes with the battle for it. You see Joe Quito, the theft and the score. He had a great game tonight, senior with a big monster game. I think it's season high for Keto, or ties the season high. And there's Balcom finishing it. As in, look at this.
What a shot to put up.
Three.
And now we see, you know, the way Edgewood's dynamic offense was able to dominate Greencastle.
As Trevor Taylor scores, as you see the Edgewood Mustangs getting ready to receive the WIC type plaque from Athletic Director Mick Hammett. And there it is, the plaque and the medals for all the hardworking men and women behind the scenes. For my partner, Jeremy Nutter, I am Nick Jenkinson. Thank you for watching. There you go, Edgewood, your 2019 Western Indiana Conference champions, beating Greencastle tonight. And we thank you for watching, and good night from Ellettsville.